Hello, everyone. We have reached the third and final day of the 2023 Quality and Engineering Circle, and it is great to start this day with not only one, but two international representatives of our customer FIT Voltaira Group for this webinar with the title IQS, a CAQ system in an international automotive production environment. Our speakers are Mathias Reips, Head of Global Quality, and Anton, Silchenko, Project Quality Manager, both at FIT Voltaira Group. My name is Tanja Klemann. I am part of the Peak Avenue marketing team, and we are pleased to welcome all of you here today. We will start the presentation in a bit. Please ask all your questions by using the chat function in your webinar dashboard. I will collect all the questions and read as many as our time frame allows to Mr. Reips and Mr. Silchenko at the end in the Q&A session. This webinar will be recorded and made available to you over the next week. We are now ready to go. Mr. Reips, you are welcome to start.
Yo, a wonderful good afternoon for me. My name is Mathias Reips, as I said, or as Ms. Klemann said. I'm the head of global quality at FIT Voltaira Group. I'm happy to be joined by Anton Silchenko. I'm going to, yes? Any question already? Would be a little early. So, okay, I move on. So that you can see me now, I would switch off the camera just in a minute. My current workplace is in Vietnam. I'm located in Vietnam. This is our biggest location. I'm going through this in the introduction. And yes, my wish would be, as well as Anton's wish, Anton Silchenko, that please collect all your questions. We will be happy to answer them at the end of the session. And yeah, I hope you are going to enjoy that. I'm hoping that it's going to give you some ideas on the rollout, on the advantages of the system. And I would switch off my camera now and would guide you through the presentation. Okay, who we are. Our mother company is Foxconn Interconnect Technology. The FIT Voltaira Group was formerly known as Prattle Sensor Wire Harness Group. We are divided into three business segments. This is Sense, Electrify, and Connect. And last year, our revenue was about 360 million at 15 locations worldwide. There are 10 production locations. And we are roughly 7,500 employees worldwide, depending, of course, on production and production volumes. This can vary up to 8,000 actually. And as said, I'm joined by Anton Silchenko. He is the project quality manager and quality key user for the IQS system. He will be supporting me when there are questions. He will be supporting me in going a little bit into more details, as I would say he is the master of the system in our company and he knows it up to the smallest detail. And here I'm happy that he had the time to join us. Yeah, where are we located? You can see that here, actually across the globe, except South America and the Oceanic Pacific region in Australia or New Zealand, but anywhere else, then you can see we are represented basically everywhere. And you can see also the IQS sign, and the IQS sign means that these locations had been rolled out with the IQS system, mainly the production sites worldwide. What are we doing? We are mainly focused on the cable business, cable adapters, antenna systems. You can see this here, sensors with connectors on, and everything between a control unit and a sensor in a car is actually our business. We are the global lead on that. We are also very much engaged in the micro-mobility area here, especially e-bike is one of a very big field, especially in the European region. This is where we are represented, and where we also make pretty good revenue with. Here you can see some of our applications where we are represented within a car. I'm not going too much into the details. I'm sure that everybody that is interested is going to check this out later on when you are being presented or when you are being sent these presentations. So you can check this out where we are represented, and everything that belongs to cable and stuff like that, this is ours. Where we are not engaged though is a full, let's say, board system, the complete boards, cable systems. This is not ours. This is then belonging to companies like Aptiv. Okay, let's go a little bit more in the details into Mathias' race about our system. How did we approach that? Important is certainly if you are planning to roll this out in a global environment, then you need to have a 100% resource. Somebody just like Anton, who is also here in the meeting, that is basically here. So you need to have a global IQS key user. Without a global IQS key user that is 100% engaged and dedicated, you are not going to make a rollout. That is then going to be a fail very clearly. Anton also is being supported by our IT and by SAP. Why SAP? Because we do have an interface to SAP right now, just in unidirectional. We are planning to put this as a bidirectional interface to SAP. That means that we can also send back data from IQS into SAP. That is planned, but not yet rolled out. You need to have a local IQS team, in best case also a 100% resource if you are having like a bigger plant. In our case, for instance, Vietnam is a big plant with about 2,000 employees, workers, and that goes down to smaller plants like 150 that we have in India, for instance. You can see the supporting teams that are supporting the rollout, and then later on also the application of the system in production. It is highly recommended that these guys are supported, that these guys are engaged to the system, that they learn about the advantages of the system, and that they are supported also by the local plant management team or plant manager. A plant manager, a local quality manager, they must see this advantage of the system. Otherwise, it might also fail in the rollout if the advantage is not be seen by the team. How did we approach a rollout? This is here you can see basically all of our locations worldwide. I must say that the actual rollout started already in 2017 with, let's say, a pilot approach. We appointed 3 locations as pilot, where we studied the system in a very basic way, where we rolled out the modules in a very basic way just to understand on how is the learning, what is the learning curve, how do we have to approach it, and so on. Important in the rollout is that you would have to start with the heart of the system, which is the BDB. And Anton, I would like to hand over here to Anton, who would like to give you a little bit of the more insight on how we approach this and what is really important and what are his experiences while rolling this out worldwide. So Anton, maybe I hand over to you. So just go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mathias. My name is Anton Silchenko. Nice to hear all. As Mathias has mentioned, right, we have started rollout of the project in 2017 as a pilot, right, with some very strong locations to make some lessons learned, to make some best practices, and to understand how we can roll out the project in the best way. And of course, we have started with, I would say, the simplest processes, right? For example, like incoming inspection, outgoing inspection, PPAPs, and this was something like the launch, right, of more complicated processes. For example, FMEA, control plan, inspection plan development on the shop floor, right? So based on best practices and lessons learned of the simplest processes, we were able to, considering all this information, we were able to make a successful rollout for all other processes. So Mathias, if you want, you can switch to the different slide.
Yeah, I mean, important also in the rollout is that you are not rolling out the whole system with its modules at the same time at all locations. So I call this a checkerboard rollout, that you have to go step by step, module by module, location by location, and the time should not really play. And the most important factor while rolling the system out is that the locations have understood what they would have to do with the different modules. And when they are, let's say, watertightened in knowledge of this module, then you start to roll out the next module. And so you go step by step. And with the lessons learned in this rollout from all these, let's say, 4 runner locations, then you do the rollout at other locations.
That is correct, and I just would like to mention the biggest challenge we had during rollout. We did a rollout as a whole environment, right? So with a connection to all processes. So we, as a matter of fact, we did a transformation of our quality management system completely to the application.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Anton. Okay, so what are the achievements? What are the results on that? Anton, here you can take over, talk a little bit about that.
Thank you very much. So as we navigate through the key milestones of project, it is evident that our commitment to enhancing operational excellence has achieved good results. The strategic steps we've taken have brought about a transformative shift in our organization, characterized by increased transparency, agile decision-making, an unwavering commitment to continuous improvement, and substantial boost in productivity and efficiency. And I would like to mention that these accomplishments have positively influenced our overall business dynamics. So, Mathias, we can go to the next slide. Maybe you would like to add something?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, so the next slide. So as we explore the world of digital transformation, the digitalization of our paper processes signifies a notable step towards a more efficient and streamlined operational landscape. As an example, this slide not only showcases our global shift to a paperless approach, covering areas such as incoming and outgoing inspections, FMEA control plan paperwork, drawing management, show floor inspections, people processes, and action management, but also highlights the cost-saving aspect. By consolidating our tools and applications into IQS, we significantly reduced expenses on other software licenses. For example, for such softwares like dedicated to gauge management, PPAP, and action management. These changes not only make our daily tasks easier and more flexible, but also contribute to substantial cost savings and move us towards a more sustainable and connected future. Mathias,
Okay.
if you would like to add something, or we can move to another meeting.
Oh, I think here we can talk a little more in detail about this one.
This slide is exactly about the thing which I have mentioned. It is about operational and process cost reduction. And as we delve into the achievements of our project, a really important part is reduction of operational and process costs. The project has seamlessly integrated into our continuous improvement process, driving ongoing efforts to enhance products, services, and processes, while simultaneously reducing costs and expenses. This holistic approach aims not only to optimize working time for greater efficiency and ergonomics, but also to achieve remarkable results. So, for example, with PFME contributing to a cost reduction of up to 40%, working time, which is extremely important for lean process, was reduced to up to 40%. Labor efforts cut by 50%. Power consumption decreased by 5%, and a complete transition to paperless production. The impact is both transformative and tangible. Additionally, the application has enabled us to view our processes from a different perspective, launching a structured reverse FMEA process that ensures the continuous updating and progress of our FMEA studies. The project also helps us see our work in a new way from different angles, and we've started a process to keep getting better, making our organization more sustainable and creative.
Yeah, we have to say here, especially,
yep.
Especially FMEA. If we look in FMEA developing cost reduction up to 40%. If we talk a little bit about the past, in the past we were extremely conservative. There was no real tool that was done in I would say self-developed Excel files with self-developed let's say parts of control plan and FMEA. And we talk here about 10 locations worldwide, and if you just count, if you have a product that runs in 3, 4, 5 locations simultaneously, and they go and develop their own FMEA, and there is no transfer, there is no copy paste, then you can imagine how much time you save if you just have let's say a lead location developing an FMEA, and the other locations they just make a copy paste and just adapt to their local needs. This is a significant reduction. And if we talk about working time here, this is just a simple incoming inspector who is walking around looking for the drawings and so on in the old-fashioned way in certain kind of storages, getting the samples, and the system provides basically everything on hand, so he can just sit in front of the monitor and brings it up and saves the complete working time and looking time and so on. This is here with the working and labor efforts reduction that we have. And paperless production, you can say, if we name this by number, we have our production location in Morocco. It's around 500 to 600 employees. And we have calculated this pretty much, and a reduction means that here we are saving in a euro amount of 6,000 to 10,000 euros yearly. It's a yearly saving.
And this is correct. This is just for your information. This is a real facts, right? And figures and evidences. For example, on this slide, you can see the three CAP forms. CAP, it is a continuous improvement process forms, right? Which includes the condition before and after. With these forms also include the project planning, responsible, right, and what efforts, what costs can be saved on implementation. After having a positive result on the CAP, I mean the successful reduction of costs on CAP, we are transferring these efforts and costs to other projects. We're investing it to other projects. For example, we are buying a new equipment, right, to connect to application, right, to make a transfer of data from inspection results directly by clicking button and not by inputting it via keyboard. So this is all about continuous improvement process, which is integral part, which should be integral part of any automotive company organization.
Okay, all right, so I could move on. Yeah, we go here a little bit more also into customer feedback, Anton. That is actually pretty good, I would say.
Yep, I would hand over to you, so you could.
Yeah, I mean, here we are just highlighting some of the customer feedback that we got. What you definitely see is an increase of customer satisfaction when you apply the system in a, I would say, in a really intense way and in a serious way. What they recognize is the easier sharing of information. The information becomes even more evident because it comes out of the system. You have an easier access to this information. Just imagine if you have like a customer claim, yeah, it simply still happens at us, even though we are also aiming for zero defect, but it simply happens, but it helps you to find a failure in a more easier way. It helps you to dig out documented data in a more easier way. You do not have to look for a long time. And it leaves definitely a good impression at certification audits when you receive somebody from TÜV or all the certification companies. We received here really written good feedbacks that we are applying the system and how much easier it is for the auditors when somebody is sitting in front of the system and just digging out the data that an auditor wants to see. So that leads automatically also to a significant efficiency increase at audits as you're just sitting in the rooms. You don't need to go down to production line and dig out certain data. You just sit there, you can check it out in the system live in front of you. All right, Anton, this is your turn here.
Yep, thank you very much. So this is, I would say, the final point for project achievements and results. So as we look at what we made our project successful, it is important to highlight some key points. So the project, first of all, and this is something what was already mentioned by Mathias at the beginning, right? It's very important to have a global IQS key user as a quality project manager or as a project manager with a deep knowledge of the automotive industry and practical industrial experience. This is extremely important. Clear and simple instructions, right? To make sure that all people are moving the same direction and the same strategy and the same approach for the whole organization. One consistent way of doing things for everyone. Ongoing training both globally and locally. This is extremely important in terms of especially having a fluctuation, right? Some fluctuation inside of organization. A friendly and motivational approach at each location. Regular updates in weekly meetings, which is integral part of I would say any project rollout. Frequent visits to sites, so to see the real situation, right, and to motivate people, motivate employees, and direct them to the right to the right, I would say, strategy, right? Workshops to share what's working well, what we've learned in terms of lessons learned, in terms of best practices. So all of these factors played a crucial role. We also made sure to have someone in each location who knows our system well, holding the position of local key user. Now we're also thinking about making regional key users as project has become, I would say, really massive, really global. And of course, I would like to mention that the unwavering support from our top management has been a real trigger in driving these initiatives forward.
I would like to add certain things, especially clear, simple step and instructions, the workshops and so on. We are at Voltaira an tier 2 supplier to the automotive industry, and we are not having any production location in the so-called high-cost countries. We are just operating out of so-called best-cost countries. And I think everybody of you is also facing that we are having a high turnover in especially these countries. And these countries, such as Vietnam, such as Mexico, they do not offer the same, I would say, education standard as the ones that we are well known in Europe. So it means that here we really have to go level down, and we have to make it simple and useful and clear for the colleagues that are working out of these best cost countries. And Anton, for instance, is regularly visiting these locations in order to make sure they really have understood everything and where he can support in, I would say, complex approaches. So that is also something to keep in mind, that this might be something that is challenging then to your organization if you operate out of these best cost countries. Not to mention the high fluctuation that we face. And I mean, I also in my network, when I talk to people, especially if it comes to such locations like Mexico, where you just switch jobs for some peso more, then it's very easy that you would lose the key people that are operating the system. And this is what Anton mentioned here. It's very important that the management and the levels down to the locations, they work hand in hand, and it is good in a good relationship so that you make this project a successful one. Yeah, and here, before I hand over to Anton to go through some points, I mentioned this fluctuation. This is certainly something that in best cost country that is really hitting us, and that where we also get some, I would say, which is not really, in favor for us that we are in such countries, but we have to. Everybody knows that, the price pressure. And this is something you have to live with, that you train and you educate some of your key users, and then they are getting another offer and they are lost to your competitors or to somebody else in the automotive industry. It is as it is. This is why you have this IQS global key user. This is why we have Anton, in order to make sure that we have a constant training on that and to have new colleagues coming up. And Anton, just also share your impression and your summary on that.
Yep, thank you very much. Just would like to add about the fluctuation, right? We are always thinking about the backups, right? And of course, our target, not just backup, right, of people who are skilled in using of application. Our main target to train as many people as it is possible, right? To bring a competency of people on a high level, right? So to avoid any stress during fluctuation process. And as a summary, right? So the software has become a project to achieve and merge many global targets in one. It has become, it is very supportive in terms of digitalization process. The proper team approach, continuous motivation, and overall support should lead to successful implementation. This is based on our lessons learned and our best practices. We are facing different challenges in the future years, and for example, like implementation of audit process and LEAP supply evaluation process. Now we are implementing version 10, and this is a new challenge, especially in regards of customer and supply complaints management process, right? I'm developing now a new standard which will be shared with all locations and which will be very helpful, right, to all our locations to meet a high customer standards and to fulfill all the customer expectations. Something what we are looking forward is a cloud solution implementation. This is something what is very important in terms of IT security, right? As soon as this will be available, we will switch to cloud solution. Well, so far this is it, and we are looking forward answering your questions.